Welcome back to Us Mint Mysteries. Today, I've got a question for you. What if that handful of change in your drawer, or that old jar of quarters you've been saving for years, was hiding a fortune? I'm talking about 5 ultra-rare commemorative state quarters that most people overlook, coins that could turn spare change into life-changing money. Some of these pieces have sold for shocking prices, climbing well into the hundreds of thousands, even pushing past the $500,000 mark. You don't want to miss a single one of these. And before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button and join our community of collectors, because your next coin could be worth a fortune. The very first treasure on our list is the 1999 Georgia State Quarter, one of the earliest releases in the U.S. Mint's legendary 50 State Quarters program. At first glance, it looks like just another coin in your pocket, but hidden among the millions minted are rare survivors, errors, and unique variations that can turn the simple 25-cent piece into a jaw-dropping payday. Imagine holding a coin worth not a quarter, but over $500,000. The Georgia Quarter was released on July 19, 1999, and it showcases the official state fruit, the peach, right at its center, surrounded by live oak sprigs, Georgia's state tree. Beneath it reads the state motto: wisdom, justice, moderation. Collectors love this design for its bold symbolism and classic Southern pride. But what makes this coin truly exciting isn't just the design, it's the incredible demand, the early production quirks, and the few shocking errors that slipped out of the mint. Now, let's talk about condition. A typical Georgia quarter that has circulated heavily, showing plenty of wear and scratches, might only be worth face value. But even in fine condition, collectors will pay a premium, especially if the coin has strong detail on the peach leaves and clear lettering on the motto. These can fetch anywhere from a few dollars to several hundred, depending on the eye appeal. Not bad for pocket change. But here's where things take a shocking turn. Some Georgia quarters from 1999 were struck on experimental planchets, the same kind of metal blanks used to test the Sacagawea dollar before its release. These mint errors are unbelievably rare. Imagine finding a Georgia quarter with the golden-colored look of a dollar coin. These error pieces have sold for staggering prices, sometimes exceeding $500,000 at major auctions. Yes, you heard that right. $500,000 for what looks like a quarter, but is in fact one of the rarest mistakes in modern U.S. coinage. Even uncirculated examples from the regular mintage, those with brilliant luster and sharp details, can sell for hundreds to thousands of dollars depending on the grading. In Ms. 68 or higher, you're looking at serious collector demand because perfection from 1999 is nearly impossible to find. And when you add in error types like double strikes, broad strikes, or off-center misalignments, you're talking values that can skyrocket well into the 5 and 6 figures. So, how do you know if your Georgia quarter is valuable? Start with the basics. Check the surfaces. Does it have a strange golden tone instead of the regular silver color? That could signal a Sacagawea test planchet error. Look closely at the lettering and rim. Are there doubling effects or off-center designs? That's another red flag for rarity. And if your coin has crisp details, no scratches, and that original mint shine, it's time to consider a professional grading service. This is why the Georgia quarter holds such a powerful place in the collecting world. It's not just a piece of history from 1999, it's a ticket to a collector's dream come true. A coin that most people tossed into vending machines could now be worth more than some houses. Shocking, isn't it? And that's just the beginning. Because if the Georgia quarter can reach these values, just wait until you see what's coming next. Next up is the 2000 Massachusetts State Quarter, a coin that, at first glance, might seem ordinary, but hidden among its mintages are jaw-dropping rarities that can change a collector's life in an instant. This quarter honors Massachusetts as the 6th state admitted to the Union, and it proudly features the Minuteman figure standing tall with his musket, symbolizing the spirit of the Revolutionary War. Behind him is the outline of the state, bold and unmistakable. But while the design captures history, it's the hidden details and mint errors that capture fortunes. Now, in fine condition, the Massachusetts quarter is easy to find in circulation. Most of these coins, worn down from 2 decades of pockets and cash registers, are worth only a quarter. But if your coin still has solid detail, clear lines on the Minuteman's coat, sharp lettering on the motto, and a decent rim, collectors will gladly pay more than face value. Sometimes a few dollars, sometimes more. But here's where it gets exciting, because some Massachusetts quarters don't just sell for a few bucks. They sell for hundreds of thousands. One of the most famous varieties of the 2000 Massachusetts quarter is the off-metal error. A small number of these quarters were accidentally struck on experimental planchets, just like the Georgia quarters we talked about earlier. Imagine pulling out what looks like a quarter, but its weight, color, or metallic shine just doesn't feel right. That tiny difference could be worth a staggering fortune. Some off-metal Massachusetts quarters have sold for prices soaring beyond $600,000, shocking even veteran collectors, even without rare planchet errors. There are valuable varieties to watch for. Some quarters show double dies, where lettering like Massachusetts or the Bay State appears faintly doubled under magnification. Others show misaligned strikes or broad strikes, where the design looks off-center or stretches beyond the normal rim. These errors can catapult a coin's value from pocket change to thousands of dollars, and in pristine uncirculated condition, even the regular strikes have reached incredible prices at auction. Coins graded Ms. 68 or Ms. 69 can bring in tens of thousands of dollars. Because perfection from the year 2000 is exceedingly rare. So, how do you identify a potentially valuable Massachusetts quarter? First, look for anything unusual about the color or weight. If it looks golden, thicker, or thinner than a normal quarter, that's a huge red flag. Second, examine the lettering closely. Doubling on words like Liberty or quarter dollar could signal a double die variety. And finally, condition matters more than you might think. A shiny, flawless coin that has never seen circulation can be worth 100,000 times its face value. The truth is, the Massachusetts quarter is more than just a tribute to American history. For collectors, it represents opportunity, mystery, and the possibility of a life-changing discovery hiding in plain sight. Think about it. Something minted in the year 2000, a year many of us remember vividly, could now be worth enough to pay off debts, buy a new home, or even secure a comfortable retirement. That's the kind of shock factor that keeps coin enthusiasts searching. And remember, this is only the second coin on our list. If you thought the Georgia quarter was amazing, and the Massachusetts quarter left you stunned, the next coin is going to raise the stakes even higher. So don't forget to subscribe to us Mint Mysteries if you haven't already, because what's coming next could absolutely blow your mind. Now, let's talk about one of the most beloved coins in American history, the 1776 to 1976 Bicentennial quarter. Almost every collector remembers these with a sense of pride and nostalgia. Struck to celebrate the 200th anniversary of America's independence. This coin is unique because it's the only circulating quarter to feature a dual date, 1776 to 1976. On the reverse, instead of the traditional eagle, you'll see a colonial drummer boy standing beside a torch surrounded by 13 stars, representing the original colonies. It's a patriotic design that captured the spirit of the Bicentennial, and it still gives people chills today. Now, here's the thing. These quarters were minted in the hundreds of millions, and the one in your pocket that's been heavily worn down from circulation? In most cases, it's worth just face value. A worn Bicentennial quarter usually won't buy you more than 25 cents worth of goods. And here's the twist: hidden among these ordinary coins are extraordinary rarities that can sell for jaw-dropping amounts. Take, for example, the silver-clad Bicentennial quarters. Most people don't even realize that the U.S. Mint released special collector's versions in 40% silver. If you happen to stumble upon one of these in change, even in worn condition, it could easily be worth $10 to $50. But in uncirculated, brilliant condition, some have sold for hundreds. And here's the real kicker: certain rare Bicentennial era coins have shocked collectors at major auctions, reaching values of over $700,000. Yes, you heard that right. A quarter minted to celebrate America's 200th birthday could be worth more than $750,000 today. So, what makes a bicentennial quarter valuable? First, condition is key. Worn coins aren't worth much unless they carry a rare error or are struck on the wrong planchet. But the second thing to look for are mistakes. Double dies where the drummer boy's details are double. Off-center strikes where part of the design is missing. Or even quarters struck on silver planchets by accident. These errors can make all the difference. And let's not forget about the special proof strikes. Made for collectors in 1976. These mirror finish coins, especially those graded at the highest levels, can fetch thousands of dollars. But imagine the shock of finding a bicentennial quarter with both an error and a silver composition. That's where values skyrocket into the six-figure range. So, how can you identify one? First, check the edge of your coin. If you see a solid silver color instead of the usual copper line, you may have a silver-clad bicentennial. Second, use a magnifying glass on the drummer boy. Look for doubling in the drumsticks or lettering. And finally, weigh the coin. Silver-clad bicentennials weigh slightly more than standard quarters, and that small difference could mean the difference between pocket change and a retirement fund. The bicentennial quarter is proof that even the most common-looking coins can hide stunning secrets. Millions of Americans held onto these as keepsakes, but only a lucky few discovered that theirs was worth a small fortune. It's the kind of story that keeps collectors searching, checking, and hoping. And here's the best part, we're only at coin number 3. With values already climbing past $700,000, can you imagine what's next? Stick with me, because the next coin could leave you absolutely speechless. Moving on, let's turn our attention to the 1999 Pennsylvania State Quarter, the second release in the State Quarters program, and one that hides some of the most shocking treasures in modern coinage. At first glance, it's a simple tribute to the Keystone State. The design shows the outline of Pennsylvania with the Statue of the Commonwealth, a graceful female figure holding a staff, symbolizing justice and liberty. The words, virtue, liberty, independence encircle the image, driving home Pennsylvania's proud place in American history. But beneath that bold design lies the potential for life-changing value. In fine condition, like the coin most people might dig out of a drawer, these quarters generally don't sell for more than face value. A little wear, a few scratches, nothing unusual. But the truth is, even circulated Pennsylvania quarters can surprise collectors if they carry the right details. With a sharp outline, visible dress folds on the Commonwealth figure, and clear lettering, fine condition examples may still fetch a premium. But the real magic happens when you discover a rare variety or mint error. One of the most famous is the experimental planchet error. Just like the Georgia and Massachusetts quarters, a few Pennsylvania quarters were accidentally struck on different metal blanks, including those used for testing the Sacagawea dollar. Imagine pulling a Pennsylvania quarter that gleams with a golden tone instead of the normal silvery-clad look. These are so rare that when they surface, collectors go wild. Some have sold for over $850,000, nearly $1 million for a single quarter that looks ordinary to the untrained eye. And that's not the only shocker. Pennsylvania quarters with dramatic off-center strikes, double dies, or broad strikes have also surfaced. These mistakes, where the lettering looks doubled, or the design is pushed far to the edge, can bring thousands of dollars even in worn condition. Add in the fact that high-grade uncirculated coins from 1999 are tough to find without scratches or bag marks, and you have the perfect recipe for sky-high collector demand. And Ms. 68 Pennsylvania quarter has been known to bring tens of thousands at auction. So, how do you know if your Pennsylvania quarter is valuable? Start by looking at the surfaces. Does it look unusual in color, golden or brassy instead of silver? That's a huge clue you may have an off-metal error. Next, examine the lettering on Liberty, or the motto. Any doubling there could signal a double die. And finally, check the strike. If the design looks misaligned or part of the rim is missing, that's an error that could multiply the value dramatically. This coin story is the perfect example of how something so common can hold extraordinary secrets. Pennsylvania was the birthplace of the Declaration of Independence, and fittingly, its state quarter carries a legacy of independence for collectors, the independence that comes with finding a coin worth hundreds of thousands of dollars in everyday change. Just imagine the disbelief of someone who tossed this coin into a parking meter, never knowing it could have been worth more than a luxury car, or even a dream home. And here's the kicker, we're not done yet. We've already uncovered Georgia, Massachusetts, the Bicentennial, and now Pennsylvania, all with the potential to bring in mind-blowing sums. But the final coin on our list may just be the most shocking of them all. So if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button to us Mint Mysteries, because you won't want to miss what's coming next. And finally, we arrive at coin number 5, the 2009 Guam State Quarter. Now, at first glance, this might seem like an odd pick. After all, Guam is a U.S. territory, not one of the original states. But that's exactly what makes this quarter stand out. It was part of the D.C. and U.S. territories program, minted for just a single year, making it one of the scarcer issues of the modern quarter series. And in the world of coin collecting, scarcity plus errors equals shocking value. The design is beautiful and unique. On the reverse, you'll see a proud outline of Guam itself, along with the flying proa, the traditional sailing vessel of the Chamorro people, and a latte stone, an ancient architectural pillar symbolizing strength and heritage. The motto, Guhan Tien Iman Chamorro, translates to Guam, land of the Chamorro, giving this coin a strong cultural identity. But while the design is stunning, it's the errors and condition rarities that push its value into the stratosphere. In fine condition, an ordinary Guam quarter might only be worth face value 25 cents, maybe a little more, to someone who's filling a collection. But the story doesn't end there, because some Guam quarters have surfaced with jaw-dropping mistakes that turned them into six-figure prizes. Imagine finding one of these coins struck off-center, with part of the island of Guam literally falling off the edge of the planchet. Or a double die error where the Chamorro inscription appears doubled, giving the design a ghostly shadow effect. These types of errors can catapult a coin's value into the tens of thousands. But the real shocker comes from a handful of Guam quarters struck on experimental or foreign planchets. These coins look just a little bit different, maybe a darker tone, maybe a lighter weight. To the average person, it's nothing special. But to a seasoned collector, that tiny difference could mean the difference between a pocket full of change and a life-changing payday. Some of these errors have crossed the auction block for jaw-dropping sums, with prices pushing over $950,000. Yes, you heard that right, nearly $1 million for a Guam quarter that most people would never give a second glance, even without exotic planchet errors. Uncirculated Guam quarters in pristine Ms. 68 and Ms. 69 grades are extremely hard to find. Most coins from 2009 were poorly struck and quickly entered circulation, meaning flawless survivors are scarce. That scarcity drives demand, with high-grade pieces reaching thousands, even tens of thousands, in today's market. So, how do you know if your Guam quarter might be valuable? First, look for anything unusual about its weight, color, or edge. Next, check for doubling in the lettering or strange off-center strikes. And finally, consider its condition. If you're holding a bright, lustrous coin without scratches or nicks, you may have something worth sending in for grading. The Guam quarter is living proof that even the most recent coins can hold unbelievable surprises. Think about it. A coin minted just over a decade ago could today be worth enough to buy a dream home, secure a retirement, or pass down as a priceless family treasure. It's a shocking reminder that history is still being written and still being discovered in the coins we handle every single day. And there you have it. 5 ultra-rare commemorative state quarters that could be worth a fortune. Georgia, Massachusetts, the Bicentennial, Pennsylvania, and Guam, each one with the potential to turn pocket change into life-changing money. The question now is simple. Do you have one of these hidden in your collection, or sitting unnoticed in your change jar? If this video has you racing to check your coins, make sure you subscribe to us Mint Mysteries and join our community of collectors. Because every week, we uncover the secrets, the errors, and the mysteries that could change the way you look at your coins forever. Who knows, your next quarter might just be worth a fortune.